Welcome back. I want to talk about being in the present and being connected into your true self, into your heart center, into all of your senses. That is how you really connect into the present moment. We have so much going on around us, so many external inputs that we often find ourselves even either dwelling on the past, which we can't change because it's already happened, and we worry about what we didn't do, what we should have done, how that turned out, what do they think of us? And it doesn't matter. It is done, it is over. Worrying about the past or dwelling on the past really keeps you from being in the present. The second thing is concentrating on the future and looking to something that's coming up. Perhaps worrying about the future, or more commonly anticipating the future, so it takes you out of the present moment. A lot of people work 9 to 5 jobs Monday to Friday, or 8 to 6, whatever your hours are, Monday to Friday, in a routine. There's very little difference that happens in your weekday environment, unless you're traveling or there's a big presentation or you're doing a presentation. There are things like that keep you in the present. However, most of the time, you're doing the same routine, going to your job or sitting at your desk or in your meetings, and you have the same tasks week after week after week. So naturally, you're looking to the fun stuff that's going to happen when you go on vacation in 2 months, what you're doing on the weekend, getting together with friends or family or doing an event, something different, something that's going to be fun and getting you out of that doldrum of the Monday to Friday grind. So you're not in the present, you're looking to the future, taking you completely out of a connection with yourself. On top of all of this are our normal everyday inputs from all of our social media, being so connected either by email or text, being in the microwave generation where people expect an answer immediately. So there's so much taking you out of the present moment, and you're not connecting in typically to your 5 senses. When you connect into your true self and are in that present moment, seeing what's going on, hearing what's going on around you, perhaps smelling what's going on around you. There's always a smell, might be good, might be bad, but there is a smell. Maybe tasting if you're having a food experience, or feeling tactilely, being on a soft seat, or looking at touching a tree, or touching the texture of a wall, or something that you're experiencing in that moment. When we connect into our 5 senses, we are present, but so often we are not, and we're looking to the future or the past and not being in the now. When we're in the now, we really connect into our true self. When we avoid it, we are not connected. We are not living in the moment and really experiencing, having that human experience of being as opposed to doing. When we're worried about the future or the past, we are doing. When we're looking forward to what's coming up, we're doing. Maybe we're doing what we are doing during those very routine days. However, we are not present. Our human brain can only process 50 bits of information a second consciously. Let me say that again. Our human brain can only consciously process 50 bits of information a second. Unconsciously, in the back of our head, we have 11 million bits of information a second processing. If you're looking at something, say you look at your hand, just your hand, focus on your hand. There are so many nuances to your hand that you are processing in that 11 million bits of information a second. You're processing the lines on your hand. You're processing the different colors on your hand. You're processing the creases on your hand. How your fingers move, that your fingers are round. There's a texture on each fingertip. There's a texture on the palm of your hand. You're processing all the little lines. You're processing the shadows that are making that part of your hand a little bit darker than that part of your hand to give it depth. You are processing so much information at one time that if you were doing this consciously in the moment, in the now, you would completely obliterate your brain. So you're only processing those 50 bits of information at a time. So it's very simple if you're doing something that's routine, that doesn't require a lot of concentration and presence to process, you're missing out. How many times have you gotten in a car, if you are a driver, gotten in a car and gone somewhere and you arrived and it's somewhere you're very familiar with, you get there and you have no recollection of how you actually got there. You don't remember what route you took because it is so common for you to take. You just go, you jump into that unconscious processing of what is happening. Of course, there were lights and brakes and all these things happening that you were doing unconsciously because you're so used to it. Maybe you noticed there was a funny colored car or a load of something that was completely random that was very different than what you normally see. So that sort of stuck out. But your actual process of getting there went into that unconscious processing, and you dropped into that and weren't present. But when we can drop out of that unconscious processing into the present and actually use our senses, that is the best and easiest, fastest way to get into the present, to drop ourselves into that present experience of what's going on around us and in us. Concentrating on the sound of your breath, feeling the sensations that are happening around your body. Is there wind? Is there touch? Are you brushing up against something? If you're sitting down, how does it feel on your back? How does it feel under your legs, down to your feet? Can you feel your shoes on your feet? What are you seeing around you? What color is it? Is it bright? Is it light? Is there texture? Tapping into that. One of the things that I do when I really want to come into myself, I've talked about this before, and you can go reference the other posts about the clairs. I have so many clairs coming in that I actually close my sense of sight, actually seeing through my eyes to become present, because that accentuates what I'm hearing, what I'm feeling. And often I'm getting processing through my clairs as well. So really coming in, and if you focus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, one at a time on your 5 senses, your human senses, you are going to really come into the present moment. It is one of the fastest ways to ground yourself. It is one of the fastest ways to calm yourself. And it is one of the fastest ways to experience the moment, be in the now. We're human beings, not human doings. And we so often get caught in the doing that we are missing so much of life. I am one of those people who, when I'm walking, will literally stop and smell the roses. I love the smell of roses, and it's a super high vibrational scent. So if you can stop and smell the roses, that is a hugely inputting positive thing for you to do, because rose is a very high vibration scent, a very high vibration, I guess, oil. It's an oil. If it's in an oil form, it's one of the highest. It's the highest vibration oil. So I always smell those things. Anything that sort of takes you out of that normal routine. If you see something really pretty, really take in the texture, the color, not through your phone in a picture, but stand there with your senses and appreciate it. Appreciate it. Be grateful for it. The beauty that is there. I love sitting in the forest, and I do this quite often. I do have a connection to plants and trees, especially. Sometimes I sit in the forest. Even if I'm walking, I'll just stop, close my eyes, and just listen to what I can hear around me. And often it's that beautiful sound of the wind, initially, usually very softly moving through the leaves of the trees. And as I connect in more, it often gets a little bit more pronounced as the trees talk to me. I know that sounds crazy, but they actually do. I do have a connection to nature that way. So I love that sound of the trees rustling, getting out of the traffic, but into what is naturally occurring around us fuels us so much and brings us into our presence. It fuels our self, our true self, connecting to nature, connecting to the sounds of nature, connecting to what you're actually seeing, the depth of the colors. I love looking up to the sky on a beautifully clear day. There is nothing like that stunning blue sky that happens when there are no clouds on the sunniest of days. Super bonus if the trees are out and you see the trees and then the sky behind. Lying down in the grass and just feeling the grass around you, smelling it. I love the smell of grass. I'm highly allergic, but I just love the smell of grass. It's that connection, using our senses as we were meant to have them. So often we ignore that. We don't see things and really take it in, discover the nuances, appreciate the beauty that we are able to see. We are so fortunate to have these eyes of ours, for those of us who are sighted, to be able to see everything. We are so fortunate, if we have our sense of hearing, to be able to hear the things around us. From the mew of a little kitten, to the bark of a dog, laugh of a baby, the sound of your child, your partner, your parent, whomever that is, whatever that sound is, the sound of nature around you, the babbling brook. It is all a very true blessing that we can experience as a human being. We are meant to experience that, but our cultures have negated that because everything is so fast and processed so quickly. We've been trained to process so quickly that we're missing so much. And we're speeding through life at this massive pace without stopping and appreciating everything around us. So I invite you to stop and smell the roses, or other flowers. Sit in nature and listen to the sounds around you, by a brook, in a forest, whatever, wherever that may be. To feel a breeze, the temperatures, how it runs over your skin, in your hair. Close off as many senses as you can to really attune to the others, to be in the moment, to really get into that heart center, to connect with spirit. Spirit is all around us. Our spirit is everywhere. Our spirit and our light has created this beauty around us in all senses, and we are meant to experience it. Not necessarily digitally. Get outside. Get outside and experience things in the now. Even just sitting and meditating and listening to your own breath connects you in to your center, your core. Breathe. Hear in your ears. Feel in your pulse points. Put your fingers together and feel your hands together and feel your pulse, the blood of your pulse in your body. When you really tune in, you can feel it in your neck. You can hear it in your head. Be present. Life moves really fast. Don't miss a second of it. Until next time.